Hey everybody, welcome to our show this week. Today we're going to be covering school programs that help Afghan children in Canada, ExpressEntry draw number 224, Nova Scotia immigration programs, an insight into the Saskatchewan SWIS program, as well as an interview done by Sarah. The Government of Canada has implemented school programs in order to help Afghan children adjust to their new environments in Canada. This is in order to support refugees who have fled Afghanistan after the collapse of the Afghanistan government in July of 2021. Since August last year, over 90 communities across the country have welcomed and supported these newly arrived children. The Saskatchewan Settlement Workers Program, or SWIS, has been put into place and is implementing special academic, exercise, and skill programs to help children adjust to their new learning environments. Meanwhile, in British Columbia, the Surrey School District has welcomed over 550 Afghan children. Dari and Pashto-speaking settlement workers and the school board have also delivered cultural awareness training sessions to educators and support staff. In St. John's, Newfoundland, the Association for New Canadians program have been providing in-person programming and activities for newcomer children in all grades. Students have been given access to online learning, tablets, and English as a second language training sessions. About every 2 weeks, the ExpressEntry candidates are invited to apply for permanent residency during rounds of invitations. The IRCC ranks every candidate using a points-based system called the Comprehensive Ranking System, or CRS. On June 22nd, 636 invitations were issued by the Provincial Nominee Program, with the lowest ranked candidate at 752. On the week of June 5th, the province of Nova Scotia disqualified students who studied outside of their province from applying to the Nova Scotia Experience ExpressEntry, or NSEE program. This news affected hundreds of international students who had already settled into Nova Scotia. They had worked for months towards the program's one-year employment target. There has been permanent resident positions that have opened on June 16th in Nova Scotia. Labour, Skills and Immigration Minister Jill Brazer announced a record boost in Nova Scotia's immigration allocation from the federal government. There have been 400 new spots for the provincial nominee program that has been added, and an extra 1,173 spaces were made under the Atlantic Immigration Program. The Settlement Workers in Schools, or SWIS program, is based in Saskatchewan, and it is designed for new students as well as their families to help settle them into their elementary and/or high school of choice. The SWIS program website is available in over 20 languages for its users. This resource promotes settlement and looks to enhance refugee and immigrant student achievements. The Saskatchewan SWIS coordinator works directly with their communities and coordinates with settlement service providers, community organizations, and school boards. Their goal is to facilitate the settlement process of newcomer families and to foster student academic achievement so that they have access to support services that they need. Next, we're going to cover the key roles of the SWIS program, and we're going to be taking a look at what they try to do. The first one is that they try to promote respect for cultural diversity by providing multicultural training to school personnel, which includes teachers and staff. They also work to support successful student orientations with their new learning environments. They seek to make information accessible about educational issues. They advocate for the rights and needs of their students as well as their families, and they assess their needs in order to help them with their settlement into Saskatchewan. The SWIS program also works to refer students and newcomers to affordable programs and services, such as youth programs, health programs, and recreational activities. As an organization, the SWIS looks to support newcomer children and their families by holding themselves to the following standards. They make sure to adapt to each individual's needs. They make sure to foster a confidential and trusting relationship between their clients. They want to make sure that every interaction that they have with their clients is respectful and understanding, and they encourage individuals and their families to take part in the community of Saskatchewan. The SWIS organization also provides several resources to newcomers, which include relevant information that is accessible on their website, and providing resources for students, families, school staff, and more.
Welcome to the interview segment of the show where we talk to a registered Canadian immigration consultant, or RCIC, about their practice, their specializations in the field, their personal immigration stories, and advice that they have for our viewers who are looking to come to Canada. Let's get started. It's great to hear that you had a community of people surrounding you in Canada from your home country. And I'm sure that they really welcomed any help that you had to give. It seems like one of those situations where the career chose you. So when you came to Canada, was it hard to adjust?
So when I came to Canada, everything seems to be very different. First of all, I need to mention that, of course, I went to Edmonton, Alberta. And this is an area where you have a lot of Ukrainians in place, a lot of diaspora and a lot of people of several generations who identify as semi-Ukrainian Canadians. Nevertheless, everything was very new to me, even their culture, because the majority of immigrants are coming from the west part of Ukraine, while I'm originally came from Kiev, central part. So, as in Canada, you might notice that every province has their own traditions and history, the same is happening in Ukraine. So basically, every cultural aspect that I experienced here in Canada, in Edmonton, was new to me because all the songs were in Ukrainian, but they're new to my region. All of the cooking and meals and cuisine was new to me because it was not a part of my region. So I started my new Ukrainian journey here in Canada, which was very, very surprising because coming from Ukraine and experiencing more Ukrainian culture in Canada was a kind of an interesting experience, but I like it. The other thing, of course, was difference in everyday life, So me coming from the city that was established in 5th century, coming to Edmonton, where it's 100-year-old building is probably the most old, it was a little bit trickier to get used to these views. However, as soon as we went to Rocky Mountains like Jasper and Banff, it outset everything. The beauty of nature here is amazing, and people are great and welcoming and very friendly, and also the stability of life and ability to plan your future for several years, not just several days, gave me an opportunity to establish myself here in Canada and be welcoming to everyone who is coming to Edmonton or Alberta in general.
It's so interesting how diaspora works like that you could learn things about your country in a place that isn't your country. So, of course, we're all aware of the situation that's been unfolding for a while now in the Ukraine. And as someone from there, did you receive an influx of cases during this time?
So with the war started in Ukraine in February 2022, for sure, I've got a lot of requests from Ukrainians in helping out and supporting in their immigration journey to Canada. And there were a lot of different cases and situations with various issues, first of all, that absence of the parental consent letter because a man left in Ukraine and they were not able to find the notary public to sign that consent form for mothers to get their children to Canada. Also, a lot of like issues with other documents, like even translation and understanding the process. So I would say like there was a huge lack of information support for Ukrainians that were willing to come to Canada. And me as other immigration consultant felt that area and provided additional support. So because there were numerous inquiries and that was not reasonably possible to help every applicant, like instead of doing one-by-one applications, I and my colleagues, immigration consultants with Ukrainian background, we started to do the webinars and information sessions, just answering the questions of numerous people. And that helped a lot because it supported people to do their applications on their own, and also it gave a chance a much bigger number of people to come to Canada and filling in their own applications. For sure, when people are already in Canada, like we will provide like another series of webinars about how they can transfer from temporary status to a permanent status. And also like we'll support any kind of other cases that would be more complicated that we won't be able to answer during the webinars. But in general, the situation in Ukraine is really devastating. I'm being from Kyiv, and I already kind of had my personal pathway and experience with that, just because I have currently 2 cousins living with me from Ukraine, and both of them are from Kyiv and Kyiv region, so where the active bombing happened. And while their adults and parents stayed in Ukraine, they sent children over to Canada just to make sure that they are safe and in good health and taken care of in a good manner. But the applications that I put for my cousin, like I had a lot of stress with that, just because knowing that it's my relative who is trying to flee the war. And basically when I applied, there was no special program at that time. It just like, that was a third day of war when her parents approached me saying like, can you take her to Canada? I said, yes, of course, but we need to do the visa. And they said, we don't care, we are sending her to Poland today and you will figure something out. So for a week I was stressed out just to put the application, because without special programs there was a huge chance of refusal, which made me pretty worried. So I made everything possible to put the best application package together and apply. And basically in about 3 weeks time, she was approved and got to Canada on March 28th. After that, like another family approached me and another cousin joined us, but that application was pretty straightforward because we already had a special program designed for Ukrainians, which make it very simple to apply and very easy to get the positive decision without a lot of supporting documents. So in general, I would say that I'm very happy that Canadian government reacted to the situation and provided so needed support for Ukrainians. And of course, like here in Canada, there are a lot of like people and consultants willing to help and support these people in their journey to permanent residency. And I'm just one of many.
Well, that's all for today. Thanks for joining us this week. If you want to learn more about the content you learned, be sure to visit MyConsultant.ca, where you can speak to a registered immigration and citizenship consultant. Be sure to click the bell to be notified whenever we post a new video. Subscribe, like, and we can't wait to see you next week. I've been Adrian Quijano, and we'll see you. Bye!